notoriously are don't take care of themselves, drink way too much. I mean, for the most part, most of us are independent contractors, and healthcare, my God, my health insurance a month is literally more than a house payment, for God's sake.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's the thing, is like, you really, and I don't know if you know this, but 74% of my audience is women. And I think that women traditionally, they take care of everybody else and take care of themselves last.
You nailed it. Interestingly, you'll love this. Our audience at our readership and also at our events is 70% women, and it tends to be 50 to 70. It's not people in wheelchairs, and it's people that know they're too stressed, know they're not healthy, and want to learn. It's like Inman. I always said, you come to a conference for 4 days. If you get one piece of information that helps you make more money, it was worth the journey. We don't expect, I pour on the content to increase the odds because it's a numbers game. The more content I give people, the more they're likely. But it's also like Inman Connect. They meet other women and who share the same experiences. That community is such a big part of our passion and longevity. It's peer-to-peer learning. Instead of just always relying on these big name experts, our coaches, we have so much to learn from each other, and the caliber of our audience at our events and our readership at the newsletters we do at Live Long reinforce that. And we have done exactly more or less what we did at Inman, and that's to build trust, credibility, integrity. Could have made more money by, charging people to be on our stage, but it's long-term. I always say it's a long-term family asset, every business I built. And they haven't all succeeded, but the ones that have, that's always been the vision.
Well, I always say that live events change lives.
Wow, I love that. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that from you if it's okay.
No charge for that tip. But I think that live events change lives, but the experience at the event is what becomes sustainable.
Yeah.
I think that when you go somewhere, and I know, and I've seen it when I've been to Inman events, it's the connection with other people, like-minded people, number one. So I always sit in the front row. The people that sit in the front row are not there just to check the box. They're there to do something. They're there to take action. And so I always want to sit with like-minded people. I want to surround myself with people who raise me up. I'm never, ever interested. I came to a dinner. I don't know if you remember this. I came to a dinner in Las Vegas that you hosted. I got invited. How the hell I got invited, I have no idea.
I remember very well.
But I am telling you right now, it literally blew my mind, the quality of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that again, live events change life. You don't realize, but that dinner changed the trajectory of my life.
Fantastic.
It opened doors and gave me opportunities. And I just think, and now looking at your live long experience, live long events, how are you making those have the same impact? And talk to me, how do you vet, like, how do you know that this doctor is like not a doctor of veterinary science, but is like a real doctor of like longevity? Like, how do you know who's got like the proof in the pudding?
Well, it's hard. And, they are slick. It's like some of the real estate speakers, they haven't sold an inch of real estate in their whole lives, but they're somehow experts. And, someone could charge that of me, but I never gave advice on how to buy and sell real estate. But it's a very, very rigorous process. And again, we do make mistakes. But again, it's the people that I've been able to work with over the years. And I have an incredible partner on this project. She was with me, I think, almost 10 years at Inman. Katie Gaddu, who is unbelievable and everyone loves and is a master at relationships. She does it in a very positive way. I can be more digging journalist style. And she figures out who's real and who's not. She also knows how to choreograph events. So it's not only full of education and content, which is kind of my MO, but she puts entertainment. She has a very diverse group on the stage. She's very, like in this field, women's health is super important and is a big emphasis of the event. And she, like me, knows that the most important thing when you hold an event is people come away feeling good about themselves. And all Inman events, I think we can say without hesitation, leave people that way, where no one feels like they made a bad investment and they've made an incredible number of contacts. In fact, for as long as I know, 30 years, I've offered 100% guarantee when you're done and you leave, if it wasn't worth it, I will give you every penny back. I think it's happened once or twice. And people have to feel like the investment of their time and money was worth it. And I think, and I give Katie a lot of kudos because without her, I wouldn't have, the one we pulled off last year in Palm Springs very quickly, typical Brad style, impulse, let's do it now. And we got it done and it was just amazing. I mean, it's also the crowd was really interesting. They're healthy, they're good looking, they're eager, and they're very positive. You know, if you think about it, someone that wants to live long is pretty happy with their lives. And it doesn't mean, everyone has to be like that. Not everyone is, of course. But I think it was also the event. As soon as they walk in, we have this thing planned this year, smaller, more intimate, more conversational, deliberately. It's a little pricier, but the whole idea is to make it, again, more interactive. I think people want to go to live events, but they also don't want to sit in big, huge convention centers. They want to interact. So there's a lot more participation. People are coming with their lists, coming with their questions. I've told people that my goal is to meet all 200 people, but I also want all 200 people to meet the other 200 people. Because it's those lasting relationships like we have at Inman, where people have literally gotten married and formed business and sold companies. And it goes on and on and on.
Well, you say something very interesting, and I want to make sure that my audience hears that. And I think that this changed with the pandemic, is because you can do Zoom and you can feel like, that you've gone to the event. How many of us did like a virtual event? And I think that those larger events now feel very much like, oh, I could have just done this on Zoom.
Yeah,
Whereas the more intimate event, I have the ability to actually make the connection with
totally.
the person. Where it's great that you're going to have 7,000 people at your conference, praise the Lord and pass the money. But ultimately, what helps the attendee is the quality of people that you have the ability to be around. The
Totally.
closer you can get to the nucleus of the power, the more life-changing that event becomes.
Yep.
And I personally think that, I've always been a big proponent of 8 at 8, where you have 8 people for dinner at 8 p.m.
That's a
And
great, you got all these great ones. I love this.
well,
And be on time.
yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is that you, like, with 8 people, like, you have the ability to talk to each other and you're not talking over each other, and you don't
Yeah,
you miss somebody. And I think that when you do these smaller, more intimate events, it's very similar to that. And the more catered to the audience. And Katie, my stars and stripes, she's a star. I
oh,
mean,
amazing.
she is absolutely amazing. And you hit the nail on the head. Number one, she's amazing at the order, at the choreography.
Yeah,
But where her magic sauce is that she knows how to bring out the best in the people that she has on the stage.
100%. And they feel good about themselves when they come. One of my experiences comes from ULI, the Urban Land Institute. I was sent there by a newspaper I worked for in California way back in the day. We're talking 80s. And it was a huge conference. And I'll never forget showing up and being so intimidated, and felt so insignificant and did not feel important. And it made me, I never forgot that, because when I'm walking the halls of Inman or any event, if I see someone that reminds me of me, I go right up to them, and they invariably were like me. I flew to New York City. I had to figure out how to get, to the I think it was in the Hilton actually, where we have ours now. And who would have thought I would be holding events where they did? But I was so impressed with the speakers, but they were so, I had to go up and ask them a question. I was intimidated, and it was exactly that feeling I had that I can see in people's faces sometimes. And but it also made me realize we need to change the event business. We need to make it like the Q&A used to not be common in events. People just spoke. And but more where you're connected as the organizers to your own customer and audience. And I don't think we can ever do enough on that front to enable and help that newbie who I think is really my most important customer.